All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So we are once again at Honglim Base in 2026 to see how it's actually doing. Now, I know this place is slower than it used to be, just because back in the day, this spot used to be extremely good, and then it had multiple balance changes, and most people who are grinding for crystals and everything are doing it at the other spots. But for the people who have the gear, people would do the other ones. But I wanted to just test Honglim Base once again and see what it's all about. As we all know, I've done the videos of Golden Pig Cave and Dokkaebi in the past few weeks, and I just kind of wanted to compare like a drop rate. So I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 cycles and see what it's all about. And with that said, this spot is 950 effective, and I'm going to try to match the AP just to see what people with that gear, like people who are supposed to be grinding here, actually feel like. And so let's see what I could do to gear match with demi-human. All right, so it's not going to be 1-to-1, but I'll try to get as close to how far down could we go. Close enough. Taking off 3 accessories. I think I'm still going to overcap it because I'm going to use the Vela and obviously harmonies and everything, but for the most part, as close as I can. And this is the crystal setup we're going to be using. We're -3 of these, but what really matters is I want the BSR for that one. And so we're going to be using a little bit of attack speed and then all of this stuff. I'm lucky I get to play with different crystals, but for everyone else, just all AP is probably the way to go. I also think target openings in this spot is a little bit better for me, at least, just because it's harder to back attack really fast spawning enemies. So with that said, yeah, 950, we should be able to match that with everything else. Now let's see. All right, let's turn this on. We got harmonies. We don't need a perfume. Oh, okay. Okay, we're back. Game just crashed. Oh no, it's been weird today. But anyway, with that said, going back to everything else, we don't need a perfume. We're just going to use a harmony, and then that's about it. So, just want to make sure. Okay, so we're testing Honglim with as close to gear cap as possible at 950, and let's do this. We're just going to do like 1 cycle or 2 just to see. Also, I haven't been here in a while, so I'm not going to be at peak. As far as I remember, unless they change something, this usually should line up the boss with my E buff. So usually within 3 minutes. This on screen. Also, I'm pretty sure the spot with Agris is pretty solid, but the trash comes in from the boss mostly because that has a high scaling multiplier. But I'm just gonna test without it. So is it too dark? I can't. I'll try to do some post editing and make it a little bit brighter, because we're doing this nighttime in game. I remember they actually added those sharpshooters in the game, and at first I had no idea what they did, but apparently it's to prevent like AFK botters, and then like if you don't kill them, they'll just like start ramping damage, and then it's supposed to negate like AFKers and everything. So kind of annoying, but understandable. Are you guys excited for next week when we get the alchemy stone change? I honestly feel like that's more of an end game progression thing than it is for anyone else, but I think it would be nice for people who don't have Vel's hearts to like, maybe they'll do something to start giving Vel's hearts away easier nowadays, but who knows. All right, so we got 1 out of 3. I can't even do a full combo on these before they die, so I'm just like doing what I can. But as far as I understand, this spot is probably like $1 bill an hour on average, assuming decent, you know, crystal drop rates like average. So that's pretty good, probably. Oh, there are actually people grinding here, like unironically. That's good to know. So how much trash is considered good here? An hour? Without Agris. If I remember correctly, and even in my older videos, I think when I grinded here, you get maybe like between 1 to 4 crystals an hour. Like I would assume like 1 every 15 minutes or something on average. So we could calculate that into the formula. Always the Fox Bandits that feels like they have higher evasion than others. So once you get 3 flames, a Gumiho spawns, and then it's kind of like a downtime in other spots. Like a minute or 2 of just AFK phasing, which is cool, I guess. You know, one thing I would actually think would be cool is if they started adding like more Dekia spots to Morning Light spots, because this region, it really felt like this region was all about just, you know, the story, which I think is cool and all, but if they want to keep this like Morning Light entirely relevant for the upcoming years, they're going to have to, you know, make the grind spots still relevant. And I know getting the crystals is the most important thing, but then like the only place worth grinding here would be Golden Pig Cave in terms of silver value for like endgame players. It's one of those things where I'm just like, interesting. I think this spot would be great with the Dekia spot, or maybe turn it into a group grind spot. That would be even better for everyone who's still grinding here. Honestly, even at slightly, or I guess I am still above AP cap. Would I be without this one? 930. I have to keep something on to stay above the efficient. Oh, what's funny is I realized like half of my buffs like that I would normally use in a normal situation, like Villa, not even on. I don't think I have the tent buff, or Villa is tent, but the other one, the church buff. All I have is a straight harmony and food. Which, you know, that's unironically, this is what I see normal people when I watch streams occasionally and just lurk in people's channels. People don't go full out buffing when they grind. Kind of weird, but you should be doing that if you're grinding like unironically for the spot. $215% here. Ooh, third boss, we're getting Gumiho soon. So let's see, how much is this trash loot worth? Like 20k? Dang, no crystals from that. Unlucky. All we get is a... We didn't even get the other one either. That gives you max BSR. Like the 200. Alright, we'll go for a couple more minutes until the harmony runs out, and then we'll, I guess, do a total... We do get a bunch of blackstones here, though, which is actually really nice. But yeah, I think with the sharpshooter boss, or whatever, the one that gives you the one flame, that's where the high roll comes in for trash loot. So if you have Agris on, that basically it's like between what, 500 to, or like 600 to 1,000 or something, and it actually adds up over time. So getting a couple extra thousand trash loot is really good. I'll go for another minute and a half or whatever until Harmony runs out. This is why I think target openings is better than Vicious Shadows here. Just because it's hard to get back attacks when they spawn all around you versus even when they group up. You I think this bot had a CC resist. Let me just make sure. Knockback floating. Yeah, I did not have that. That's okay. Know how to use your iframes fine and should be okay for this spot. It's not like some other spots, if you get CC'd, it's actually kind of bad. This spot's probably fine. All right, so we got around 6,000 trash loot. I'm gonna wait till the next boss and then we'll call it. But like roughly around 6,000 trash loot. Okay, after this boss we're done. Okay, time to calculator it a little bit. So, since I went a little bit over, that's probably fine. We'll just say around like 61, 6,200. But that's, you see how that jumped from just by killing the boss? All right, so let's see. Let's just say 6,100. I had a little bit more times 2520. 125 mil for 15 minutes. If we were to multiply that by 4, that's 500. And then the other value would be in the crystals that you get. So like generally, obviously if you get a bond that's a free billion, that's really nice. But I would say on average it's between 1 to 4. So you could add that and then any other bonuses like Blackstones. So I think roughly average it's about like 800 to a billion silver. And I think that's good. So yeah, if you're a new player and you're around this AP, very good spot. And just wanted to try this again, once again in 2026 to show you guys what it's all about. And that's about it. So thanks so much for watching. By the way, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Love to see you come back. We make a lot of guides and keep up to date with the current events in this game. And I also have a code on screen. So if you're thinking about buying any pearls or game packages and you're upgrading, that also works. And I get a small portion of that as well. That's going until February, so always appreciate it if you are, and I will see you guys later. Peace.